If you clicked on this video, you're probably someone who has a lot of things that they want to achieve, but you're struggling to really hold yourself accountable. Well, in today's video, you're going to learn all of the tools and tips to really build out your accountability system and take on this year with the most success. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Adaptability, and I teach you how to get more time, life, and energy through meaningful and practical productivity strategies. In my last video, I shared that one of the things that you need in order to actually achieve your goals is accountability. Holding yourself accountable for your actions and your performance will really ensure that you are actually making progress towards your goals and you're identifying any missteps that might happen along the way. And when you have an accountability system, ensures that the times where you feel unmotivated or you don't feel like doing something, you have extra checks that are going to really continue to propel you forward. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what you need to have in your accountability system so that your goals for this year are actually going to get done. Before you can even hold yourself accountable, you have to ask yourself what it is that you're actually holding yourself accountable to. And that means that you have to really get clear and specific on what it is that you want to achieve and making sure that it's actually something that can be really attainable if you put in the work that you need to put in order to get it done. I want you right now to pause this video and take the time to actually define what it is that you want and how it is that you're actually going to do it before we even get started. Because if you don't know what it is that you're doing, you're not going to be able to keep yourself accountable, or you're not going to be able to have anyone else that can keep you accountable because you aren't clear. So get clear, get focused, and really define out what it is that you want. Now that you know exactly what it is that you want to do, now it's time to grab a friend or a group of people to really help you stay on track and stay focused. I find that having accountability partners allows me to really show up when I don't feel like showing up, but it can also allow me to find different perspectives or different ideas that I may not have thought about before. And when you have an accountability group, you're able to sort of reduce the pressure of the fact that you have to be in this by yourself. Like, having a team of people makes all of the difference. If you have some like-minded people in your life that you trust and you know will keep you encouraged, and you also know will call you out when you are slipping, then that is what you need into your accountability system so that you aren't alone. I know it can be scary telling people your goals, but honestly, I think that when you tell people what it is that you want, it makes it more real. That could be the link for you to find new opportunities that you may not have thought about before, or find different resources or approaches that may not have been in your purview before. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there, put publicly what it is that you want to do, and allow the right people in your life to come and guide you and support you in the way that you need. Now that you know exactly what it is that you want to achieve and you have a good support network who are going to make sure that you can achieve your goals, the next thing that you need to do is making sure that you're establishing regular check-ins. And I said in my last video that what doesn't get tracked doesn't get measured. So if you're not actively tracking and seeing how it is that you're progressing, or seeing how it is that you're feeling as you are progressing towards your goals, then you're not going to be able to really hold yourself or have anyone else hold you accountable, because you don't even know where you're at. So taking the time to maybe schedule 30 minutes every week for you to review what it is that you've done and look to see what you can do ahead is going to be really crucial in terms of building out the accountability system that is actually going to keep you on track and making sure that you stay focused. We already just discussed about the things that you need to do externally in order to really start to lay the foundation, but now let's talk about the things that you can do internally to make sure that you're staying motivated and you're staying focused. One of the things that I've found to be really stressful sometimes when I'm trying to work towards something is losing the idea of why it is that I wanted to do it in the first place, especially when it's something that is really, really hard and I'm finding a lot of difficulty in doing. And that's when having some time to journal or self-reflect is really going to allow you to really evaluate where it is and kind of remind you of why it is that you want to do it. I personally have a weekly reflection that I do in my Notion, as well as daily reflections meditation that I do every day that kind of just recenter and refocus me so that I know kind of what it is that I'm focusing on at this given moment. But I also am reminding myself of my why and reminding myself that the reason why I am struggling now is for something far better and far greater in the future. Make journaling a part of your practice. Make reflecting by yourself a part of your practice, because that is going to give you that fuel and that drive to keep going even if everything feels like you shouldn't. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Some days are not motivation days, some days are discipline days. And those discipline days are the days that are gonna allow you to be consistent even if you don't really feel like it. And I'm not just talking about being consistent on the things that you said you were gonna do to help you reach your goals, but also being consistent in tracking your progress and making sure that your current actions are actually in alignment with what it is that you're trying to do. Get in the habit of being in the habit of tracking your goals to make sure that you're staying focused, staying top of mind, while also still being consistent in the actual process that you need to have. Another reality is that sometimes there's going to be setbacks within your pursuit of your goals, and that is perfectly fine and perfectly normal. It doesn't mean that you have to completely eliminate those goals, but it does mean that you might need to be a little bit more flexible and adaptable, which is really going to help you hold yourself a little bit more accountable as well. When you might have set out to do something a certain way, but you realize that that's not going to be the easiest way for you to be able to do it, taking a step back to really evaluate what are some different adjustments that you can make, what are some things that you can change, what can you adjust so that this still gets done, even if it's not even the biggest thing that you wanted to do, is going to really help you level set your own expectations and make you feel a lot better about your progress. Something that I really like to do is I like to have like good goals, better goals, and great goals. So maybe my great goal will be to do like 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, but my good goal might actually be to just get 1,000 subscribers, or then my better goal would be to get 5,000 subscribers. Just level setting, kind of giving yourself a range, giving yourself a little bit more flexibility to work, but also being okay if things don't actually happen the way you want. Because when you shoot for the moon, you'll still land on the stars, and it doesn't mean that you didn't do what you said you were going to do. It just means that things happened a little bit differently, and it might actually end up being for the better as well. Allowing yourself to have a little bit more flexibility, allowing yourself to adapt to the different situations that life can bring up is really going to make that much more of a difference in how you are holding yourself accountable as you are working towards your goals. The last thing that is really, really important in your accountability system is celebrations. Taking the time to reward yourself for each of the different milestones in your goals is going to make that much more of a difference and is really going to give you the motivation that you need to keep going. And you don't have to wait until you hit this big milestone that you set out. It could be really small, and you can treat yourself in very small or large ways. It could look like going to a nice fancy dinner, or getting a massage, or going to go get your nails done, or just even a day where you get to unplug and just relax and recharge from what it is that you're trying to do. But making sure that you plan out how exactly you're going to celebrate yourself as you approach each milestone is going to give you that motivation and that boost, even on those times where it took you forever or it was harder for you to get there. In today's day and age, technology can be a really valuable tool in building out your accountability system. I know for me, I like to plan out my goals and my ideas and thoughts in Notion, and I create different dashboards that allow me to keep track and really understand what it is that I'm progressing on, and also make different adjustments over time. If you would like to get started keeping track of your goals and your habits within Notion, click the link in my description box and grab my goals and habits tracker template. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'd love to know in the comments down below, what are one of the ways that you plan on making sure that you are holding yourself accountable? I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.